Hey there, and welcome back to Cisco Reads Books. Today we're doing another book review, which is one of my shorter classic books that I wanted to get through because I was looking at my shelf and I was like, you know what? I've read Tolstoy before, but I want something short and quick because I just finished a book and I just want a little palate cleanser before I jump into some more Don DeLillo with Americana. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I had Cossacks The Cossacks by Leo Tolstoy on my shelf, and I was like, all right, seems short. Let's dive in and see what it's got. So this book is about a Russian military officer named Dmitry Andreev Olenin. So in the book, he's either referred to as Dmitry Andreev, which I think I just butchered the shit out of that, or he's known as Olenin. So he has taken a post in the Caucasus Regiment, which is stationed near the lands of the Cossacks and the Chechens. So he goes to this village. He's not really sure what he's going to get into. He's a rich, kind of aristocratic Russian, uh, high up kind of family guy, and he doesn't really know what he's getting into, but he heard that it was a good time, so he goes out there and he goes out there. It's a change of pace. He's boarded in a house with a Cossack um, cavalry officer, Ilya, and basically he billets with them the same way that the British did in the Quartering Act during the revolution, or which led to the revolution, where we didn't really like them living with us. But in Russia, it's a little bit different. They kind of have an obligation to billet these soldiers. Um, but he ends up paying them rent. He's a very nice guy. He doesn't really take advantage of the system. And through his time there, over the course of a year, that he's stationed in this Caucasus regiment, he meets Marianka, the daughter of the man of Ilya, who's billeted with. Um, and throughout this year, we see this budding relationship growing. But of course, there has to be a love interest or a love triangle. So the love triangle is Olenin, Marianka, and Luka Lukashenko. Yes, also known as Luka in the book. So I apologize for the butchering of your Russian names, Tolstoy, but I mean, goddamn, can you make them a little bit fucking easier? Um, but anyway, so during this year, it's them, Olenin and Luca becoming friends, but then realizing that this love interest that they have is 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 not going to pick either one of them and is trying to pick both of them. And it's a wonderful story of like slice of life of what it's like um in a Cossack regiment, as well as the outsider kind of Muscovite view of the Cossacks from a civilized Moscow perspective, looking on these ruffians. But during the course of that year, Lenin really falls into that rough and ready lifestyle and just living with the Cossacks and hunting and fishing and doing all the things that they do that make them who, the Cossacks as we know them as these kind of swashbuckling horsemen that are, pretty badass. Um, Needless to say that the romantic entanglement helps to want to keep him there. Because he definitely is like, well, if I could marry her, then, I would probably never go back to polite society. I would live this life. Um, so it does get to the end, and it is kind of a tragic ending. But what this does in 168 pages was just fantastic. Tolstoy's writing in this is much more erudite than it was in the books that I've read previously, which were I can't see that far. I don't have my fucking glasses on. But it's much more erudite. It was one of the earlier novels that he wrote. It was basically he wrote this directly after his autobiography trilogy, which was like fictionalized personal autobiography is what it's called. But this was the first like novel that wasn't so much autobiographicalized, if that's a fucking word. But it was really erudite, and it you can see the the seeds of great Tolstoy in here. I mean, not that this book wasn't great. I mean, it's fantastic. It's Tolstoy. He was a natural born storyteller. Um, but it definitely has the seeds of greatness that you will come to see in War and Peace and his other novels to come in his life. And yeah, for 1862, I mean, this was a great novel. Really excited that I read this. I read it in one sitting where it was just I whipped right through this because it was just so engaging. It gives you such a great cultural background of what the Cossacks were like and what it was like to live in a culture like that. And it was a very martial culture, but also very freewheeling, carousing, the Russian drinking style, but they're drinking chimleta or something. It's like a vodka wine. Um so it's not like straight vodka Russian style Lastrovia shit, but it's a little bit different, but they're a lot more party boy about it than the Russians were. Um, and yeah, it's just a fantastic story. I mean, there definitely are uh, down moments where I thought that some of the plot contrivances of the love story were a little bit contrived. But I mean, this was also in 1862, so I mean, at the time it wouldn't have been contrived, but there's just so much of that shit nowadays where it's just like, oh yeah, I've seen this before, blah blah blah. Um, enemies to lovers, that whole thing with Olenin and Maryanka, and then the love triangle thing. It's been done, but it's done well enough. And I'm not a romance guy. I fucking hate romance stories. I bought this to learn about the fucking Cossacks. And and that storyline is great in it. The background, the setting, the description of the land. It's just so well done that like for me, like personal interest, I do really like the Caucasus region and just like that area of Russia and its culture. Everywhere from Ukraine to Georgia, that whole like steppe region there is just super interesting to me. So like I already had that going, like knowing that if it was done in any relatable, good way, I was going to like it just on the fact that it's about friggin' Cossacks. However, like I said, I'm not a romance guy either, but that plot does work, and it didn't take away from the story, but it did seem a little contrived just because of the time period that this was written. It was probably a great fucking romance back then. I didn't find it to be particularly entertaining, but it does lead to the penultimate event of the book, which I'll leave that just in case. I mean, 1862, if you haven't read Cossacks yet, what the fuck are you doing? But I'll leave it there. That way I don't spoil the ending, but it is fantastic. I would read it. Like I said, it took me one sitting. Um, it's 168 pages long if you get this the Modern Library Classics edition, which I mean shitty construction on the book, but I mean, it's it works if you're gonna actually read it because, all of these books are meant to be read, not to be looked at. I have my looking at shelf over in my in a different room. But yeah, and then as we go, next time we're going to be diving into this big boy pile of books, which is going to be the top 8 dystopians, and I have a couple of honorable mentions. Um, so we'll be diving into that next video, but as for now, I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're reading fantastic shit. And if you want a book recommendation or anything, put it in the comments below and subscribe to Cisco Reads Books for more information and come hang out with me.